But this emphasis on the essential unity of human existence was championed by an array of New Testament scholars in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. For example, in his book, The Body, a study in Pauline anthropology or Pauline theology, John Robinson claimed that Paul's anthropology was essentially Hebrew in its holistic and unified understanding. F. Bruce, widely acknowledged as the dean of evangelical biblical studies in the 20th century, concluded similarly that in his anthropology, quote, Paul was a Hebrew born and bred, unquote. And ever-influential Marburgian Werner Georg Kummel wrote in his study of man in the New Testament, with regard to Paul, we can speak only of the unity of the complete person. Writing toward the end of the 20th century, New Testament theologian Udo Schnelle sought to correct Bultmann by urging that, quote, a person has a body and is a body, a self-evident emendation of Bultmann's famous dictum, man does not have a soma, he is soma. This list of New Testament scholars who have published significantly in this area and with similar conclusions could be expanded easily enough. But perhaps this is enough to demonstrate the direction historical inquiry had moved the conversation away from 19th century views concerning Paul's two-part or three-part anthropology in favor of a unified human being. Moving beyond these general observations, we can go on to discuss two factors that led to this reformulation of New Testament anthropology. The first is that the New Testament scholars generally learned more and more to take more and more seriously the influence of Israel's scriptures and its theological trajectories on early Christian writings, an influence that would include a portrait of the human creature, in the words of Brevard Childs, as, quote, a complete entity and not a composite of parts, end of quote. That is, if Israel's scriptures, rather than Plato's writings, constitute the subtext of New Testament thought, then our assumptions about what words mean and our interpretive categories undergo a fundamental shift.